Civilization is far more fragile than we imagine. These ruins now lying beneath the soil were the very embodiment of global wealth 3,200 years ago. But what was this splendor like before it was buried? And how did it end up underground? Close your eyes and imagine. You are gazing at the magnificent view of the Aegean, wine in hand. Philosophers are lecturing their students. Birds are chirping. Butterflies are fluttering. Artists are singing and painting. Ships from all corners of the Aegean and Mediterranean are constantly docking at the harbor, bringing in new goods. The palace walls shimmer with lapis lazuli blue. The wine flowing in golden chalices seems endless. No one even considers that this glory could one day turn into a pile of dust and rubble. Civilization is living its golden age. Or so you think. Then you see a shadow on the horizon. First one ship, then three, then hundreds. Who are they? Where did they come from? What do they want? As these questions swirl in your mind, the lands known as the cradle of civilization begin to be stained with blood. A sudden wave of death swallows the entire city, and you bid farewell to life before you can even find the answers to your questions. Who are the ones who put you to the sword? Surprisingly, we still don't fully know the answer. But at least we can shed some light on this darkness. Today, we will examine the secrets of the mysterious sea peoples, known as the tribe that caused the collapse of the Bronze Age. We can interpret the collapse of the Bronze Age as a domino effect. If one stone falls, they all fall. To better understand the sea peoples, we must first look at the final era of the Bronze Age. Lasting from approximately 3000 BC to 1200 BC, the Bronze Age was a period of humanity's first great civilizational leaps. Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Aegean, Anatolia. Great empires rose in many places, and trade, craftsmanship, architecture, and agriculture flourished. During this period, writing systems also developed rapidly, initiating the process of recording human civilization on a large scale. There were also intense commercial relationships. Tin and silver mines in Anatolia spread to the region via eastern Mediterranean ports, and massive merchant ships departing from Egypt's grain silos traveled to the Aegean and the Middle East. In short, we can say that the Bronze Age was a period of prosperity where science, philosophy, art, and trade developed rapidly. However, starting from the 13th century BC, dark clouds began to descend upon these civilizations. As Professor Eric Klein says, the more complex the system, the easier it is to collapse. The nobleman we imagined at the beginning of the video, sipping his wine in his villa, thought he was at the peak of civilization. But he was wrong. At that very moment, the ground beneath his feet had already begun to crack. A link in the chain was about to snap. Another reason for the dark clouds over civilizations was natural disasters. It wouldn't be wrong to call the period between 1800 and 1200 BC the age of natural disasters. Vesuvius, Etna, and then the Santorini eruption. The climate changed, days grew dark, agriculture collapsed. Archaeologists call this period an earthquake storm. Tremors that lasted for 50 years destroyed walls and homes, dragging cities living in prosperity into chaos. Hittite kings were writing begging letters to Egyptian pharaohs. Please send us grain, our people are dying of starvation. When the fields dried up, not only did the crops wither, but so did the authority and prestige of the kings. Because in those times kings were the bridge between the gods and the people, and that bridge was now about to collapse. Once wealthy kingdoms had rotted from within, people revolted and beliefs were shaken. People's only goal was survival. Religious and linguistic quarrels ended. Only hunger remained. And exactly at this weakest, most vulnerable moment of civilizations, the most ruthless opportunists in history appeared, the Sea Peoples. Imagine an unknown army coming and destroying humanity's most developed civilizations. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? 3,200 years ago, this is exactly what happened, and in just 50 years. The Egyptians gave them names like Peliset, Shurden, and Danaean. Some say they came from the Aegean, some from Italy, and some from the Anatolian coasts. There were even wild theories calling them the ancestors of Vikings or the lost people of Atlantis. But archaeological data shows a darker reality. They were not a regular imperial army. They were an angry confederation, migrating with their women, children, ox carts, and all their belongings, driven mad by hunger. Their goal was not to conquer and plant a flag, but to destroy everything in their path and survive. They burned down everything they encountered: Ugarit, Hattusa, those magnificent Mycenaean palaces. The last clay tablet remaining from the city of Ugarit contained these sentences: "Enemy ships came. They burned my cities and did great evil to the country." This was the last heard scream of a civilization. The destruction was so great that mankind literally forgot how to read and write. The lights of civilization went out, and the world was buried in darkness. Only one superpower managed to survive this wave of apocalypse: ancient Egypt. Pharaoh Ramses III trapped this invading crowd in the Nile Delta. Those great victory epics carved onto walls actually hid a bitter truth. Ramses had won the war, but he had lost Egypt, because this victory was won at the cost of Egypt's last breath. The backbone of the army was broken and trade routes were closed forever. The treasury was now officially empty. The empire had flagged for bankruptcy. So what happened next? Ramses, instead of putting the survivors to the sword, turned the crisis into an opportunity. He settled them in the land of Canaan, the region of modern-day Palestine. The Peleset people of that day eventually became known as the Philistines. They founded cities like Gaza and Ashkelon. Even DNA tests conducted today confirm this. There are traces of the Aegean in those roots. Look at this strange twist of history. This great migration period coincides with the same period in Jewish sources, when Moses led his people out of Egypt. History knots itself together once again. But the real great earthquake happened not in the cities, but in people's minds. Great traumas radically change people's beliefs. While cities were burning and families were being slaughtered, people looked to the sky and screamed with all their might, "Where are those mighty gods who protect us?" The answer was a deafening silence. The symbolic gods had not come. The place of massive temples and complex rituals began to be taken by more personal and moral teachings told by travelers mingling with the people. People were looking for a spiritual power that appealed to their consciences, not the gods of the palaces. This breach of trust brought the end of those old polytheistic religions. In the chaos of the Iron Age, people began to cling to beliefs that were more philosophical, more inclusive, and based on a single power. Perhaps the first domino that started the rise of today's belief systems was this very destruction. We think the storm created by the Sea Peoples ended thousands of years ago, but its waves still crash against our shores. The world we live in today, the borders we draw, and the values we believe in were actually born from the ashes of that great chaos. History tells us this: no civilization is indestructible. However, after every darkness, humanity always finds a way to emerge into a different kind of light. The important thing is to be able to read the signs before that darkness falls. Thank you for watching my video. We will continue to uncover the dusty pages of history. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.